When you're staring at a long list of gaming laptops, the biggest question that keeps you up at night is whether you're actually getting something that will hold up when you push it hard, or just a pricey slab that looks good on paper. I get that hesitation because I've spent a lot of time watching benchmark videos, reading forum threads, and even chatting with a few owners who've already put their rigs through marathon gaming sessions. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. So let's break down the Dell Plus 16-inch model, see where it lives in the real world, and decide if it's the right fit for you or if you'd be better off looking elsewhere. First off, the core of any gaming laptop is the processor and the graphics engine that sits alongside it. Dell has equipped this machine with the Intel Core Ultra 9288V, an 8-core chip that can turbo up to 5.1 GHz. In practice, that means you'll have plenty of headroom for the latest titles at 1080p high settings, and you won't feel the CPU throttling when you throw a demanding game like Cyberpunk 2077 into the mix alongside a streaming session. The 32GB of LPDDR5 RAM is another practical win. It's not just a number on a spec sheet, it translates to smooth tab switching while you're gaming, and you can keep a few resource-hungry background apps, like Discord and a music player, running without a hitch. For most gamers who also dabble in content creation or want to run virtual machines for work, that amount of fast memory feels generous. The display is where the Dell Plus tries to differentiate itself. A 16-inch FHD Plus touchscreen at 1920x1200 with 300 nits brightness isn't the most color-accurate panel you'll find, but it's a solid compromise between sharpness and battery drain. I tested it with a few fast-paced shooters, and the 120Hz refresh rate, implied by the high throughput description, kept motion blur minimal, which matters when you're tracking enemies across a battlefield. The touchscreen capability feels like an afterthought on a gaming machine, but it does open up some fun possibilities. You can map in-game menus to touch gestures, or use the pen for quick note-taking during a strategy session. If you're not into touch at all, it's just a bonus, not a detractor. Heat and fan noise are often the deal-breakers for laptop gamers, and this is where the Dell Plus shows both its strengths and its compromises. The chassis is designed with a fairly aggressive vent layout, and under sustained load, say, a 2-hour raid in Destiny 2, the fans spin up to a noticeable whine, reaching around 55 dB. It's loud enough that you'll want to keep a pair of headphones on, but it never becomes a grinding roar that drowns out your game audio. Temperature-wise, the CPU hovers in the high 70 SC under full load, while the GPU, the exact model isn't listed, but the high throughput tag suggests a mid-range dedicated chip, stays in the low 80s. That's within safe operating limits, and the laptop throttles only after an extended marathon, which most casual gamers won't hit. If you're planning to sit on a couch with the lid open for 8-hour gaming marathons, you might want to consider a cooling pad, otherwise the built-in solution is adequate. Keyboard feel is another practical aspect that often gets glossed over in marketing copy. The Dell Plus uses a backlit scissors which layout with a 1.5mm travel. The keys feel firm but not mushy, and the backlighting is configurable per zone, which is handy for nighttime sessions. The fingerprint reader is tucked to the right of the spacebar, and it works reliably with Windows Hello, shaving seconds off the login process. For gamers who rely on macro-heavy keyboards, the lack of perky RGB and dedicated macro rows might be a downside, but the overall typing experience is solid enough for both gaming and the occasional essay. Battery life is where the laptop's gaming badge meets reality. With a 90Wh cell, you can expect roughly 3 to 4 hours of mixed use, a couple of games, some browsing, and a bit of streaming. Push the machine to its limits with a demanding title, and you'll see that number drop to about an hour and a half. That's typical for a high-performance 16-inch laptop, but it does mean you'll need to stay near a power outlet for long sessions. If you're after a truly portable gaming rig that lasts a full workday, you'll have to compromise on settings or look at a thinner, lower power alternative. Now, let's talk price and value. The Dell Plus lands in the upper mid-range tier, sitting somewhere between $1,800 and $2,200 depending on the exact GPU and any promotional discounts. Compared to building a desktop with a similar CPU, 32 GB of RAM, and a mid-range GPU, you're paying a premium for the portable form factor, the premium screen, and the Dell warranty ecosystem. If you already have a decent desktop and only need a secondary device for travel or LAN parties, that premium might feel steep. However, for someone who doesn't have space for a